Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year to everybody. Once again, I want to welcome all of you. I want to say thank you for joining SKTV, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. Please go ahead and share the show. Today is a year in review. We are going to be reviewing 2020. What a year was 2020. A lot happened. A whole lot happened. A lot of bad things happened and some good things happened as well. So we're going to be reviewing 2020 and look forward to 2021. So I want to welcome all of you. We're going to have my co-host Steve Bully here with me. And we also have somebody else with us here, a surprise guest. So let's keep it tight, share the show, and we'll continue. All right. Once again, I want to welcome all of you. Please continue to share the show. I think my co-host is here. And I think we are supposed to be having a surprise guest here today. I'm not sure when this person will arrive, but maybe still we got more information on this. Let's see here. Let's see if we can bring Mr. Bole on. Mr. Bole, you are here. What's up, my brother?
Not much. What's up?
Yeah, so are we supposed to have a surprise guest today?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Let's see what happened. So let's share the show for a few minutes and then we will get into it. But you know the topic today is going to be very, very interesting. We are going to be reviewing the year 2020. What happened? What are some of the good things that happened? Some of the bad things? And what would be our resolutions individually or collectively going into 2021? Are you ready for that discussion?
As always.
All right, my brother. So, let's play the song. This song, I think you know about this song. This song is, the guy who sings this song is called Mohamed Jabi from Mali in Ivory Coast. He's talking about friendship. That friendship is two-way street. If you're somebody laid out for you, to allow you to walk over them, you should honor them as well. If somebody give you the friendship that you deserve, they should get the same in return. He said, but there's no friendship where the friendship is on one side, only one person at the receiving end. That's not good friendship. He said, if that's the case, anybody who befriended you, follow that person. If somebody try to kick you out, let them be. Friendship, you can't force it. That's what the guy is saying. It's a very beautiful song. So share the show, folks.
Attention.
Oh. This one, not small song. One of my favorite, man. One of my favorite songs. So, folks, if you haven't shared the show, go ahead and do so. We are about to start the show right now. You know, we just want to enjoy the music a little bit. I want you to enjoy the music a little bit. And at the same time, you know, when you share the show, it will be good so that we can repeat ourselves when other people come. So continue to share the show. We are here. We ain't going nowhere. So as long as Steve Bullet is ready, then I'm ready. Because today is not going to be fun. Imagine reviewing a whole year. So Steve, we are about to start the show, but what we'll do, I think we'll start the show, and then when guests join us in the middle of the show, we can bring the person back. We can bring the person on, okay?
Most definitely.
All right. So if you haven't shared the show yet, folks, go ahead and do so. We're about to start the show in about 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes, we'll start. 2 minutes. So, folks, we are here. We are happy that you are here. Today, we are going to be reviewing the year 2020, and we're going to be asking you what is your resolution going into 2021. We hope 2021 will be a better year and the most prosperous year. 2021 should be a year that we will be happy about. Unlike 2020, where we had COVID-19, where we had a lot of death in our family, with our friends, in our countries, and around the world. So we hope this year will be a different year. So I just got one more minute to share the show, because I don't want to go back when we started the show. I don't want to go back to doing something else. Anyway, I'm not. That's so stupid. All right. Somebody was calling me back to. I had to block that person. The person don't want to give me a chance to even do my show. So this is the last time we've been in music for today. Then we will go on the show. All right, folks, we will go ahead and stop the music for now and jump into business. Well, Mr. Steve Bullet, I want to say welcome to you, and I want you to also join me to welcome 2021 and pray that 2021 will be a year that we will celebrate, a year that we will, together be happy, that will bring a lot of good things, that will bring a lot of good leaders in our country, and that will bring the best out of us as people and nation. Once again, welcome to another thought-provocative but yet stimulating topic, on SKTV. As always, Steve Bullet is my brother and also a co-host for this particular platform. I do not intend to blow my own trumpet, but this platform remains one of the most credible, respected, and informative platform around the block. We want to say thank you to our fans, our supporters, and followers for continuing to follow SKTV and making us who we are right now. Steve Bullet.
Well, Mr. Connect.
Yes, sir.
Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year
to our people back home. I'm grateful for life after everything this year. I know we got a lot to talk about, but as always, we're glad to be back on the show. We're glad to have the conversation that matters to our people. We are also glad to be able to inform, educate, promote, We support our people in any way, shape, and form. I like to also branch off and say what I always say and what I will always continue to say because they are facts. That the Liberian people are the most important people on earth, and I still believe that the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth. I still believe that up until now, regardless of everything we went through this year. But indeed, God has been good to all of us, and God has been faithful. So I want to say thank you, and I'm ready. I'm ready to dive in the conversation, and as our guest prepares to come on to join us.
Well, before you even uh, before you know dive before we dive into the conversation about reviewing 2020, just tell me one thing, one of the best things that happened to you in this 2020. I mean, and then one of the worst thing that ever happened to you during this 2020. Then we can start the conversation from there.
Uh, One of the best things that happened in this 2020 that I'm grateful to God for is I stood for what I stood for, and I thank God I still stand for that today. Um, there have been a lot of conversations behind closed doors that some of our viewers will not know about. They would never have the privilege to know about um, in order to compromise some things. But I'm grateful that we were able to stand for what we stand for and we'll continue to stand for that. One of the worst things that ever happened this year was to have a close friend um, who passed away in June, Stephen. He was the NIMA Association president here in Arizona. I work with him very closely, a very close friend or brother. And we, I think we contacted the coronavirus around the same time, but he did not make it. He did not make it. He passed away. I think that was a awakening call in a very sad moment for this year. So, but I'm grateful to God to be here and to be alive.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Once again, we want to welcome everybody. We're going to try to lay the premise for the conversation today. My brother Steve Bullet, a bright mind, he will be here to analyze it for us. You know, being a psychologist is very good. They can read our mind and tell us exactly what you're thinking. Or when you behave in a funny, in a certain way, they can project what you are about to do. Not that they are God or they know everything, but that's how they are trained to do. But again, I want to say thank you to all of you. This is SKTV coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona. If you don't know, those who are non-Liberian, non-Black, non-African, we are the SKTV family. We want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. If you're in Liberia, we want to say good evening. And then if you're in Australia, Asia, or anywhere where it's morning, we want to say good morning. Of course, when you are in the United States or Canada or anywhere where this afternoon, we want to say good afternoon. We are very happy to have you here. We are glad that you are here. We are happy that you been with SKTV throughout the year. And today, I believe, is the last day of the year 2020. We are glad that we made it through to this year, throughout this year. We don't know what 2020 brings, 2021 brings, but we are hoping for the best, not just for us, but to all our followers, fans, and well wishers who continue to be a part of this particular platform. Beyond that, same question I asked my brother. One of the worst things that happened to me this year, and I would say in my life, was losing my older brother. My older brother. We have a huge, we have large family. But my brother who passed away was my older brother from the mother side. My mother had five children, two guys and three girls. I'm the last. He was the first. And the three girls in the middle. My brother passed. My brother had about 12 living children. So to lose that brother, as a matter of fact, I consider him as a father because I grew up with him all my life. Growing up in Central Monrovia, around Camp Johnson Road there, I know what this man did for me. It's like, it was like a father figure to me. It was not only a brother, but it's my father, but he passed away this year, 2020. So that made this year the worst year. I lost my mom, I lost my dad in the past. But losing my brother, it was so painful to me more than losing or any of my family. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. So for me, that was the worst thing that happened to me this year. Even though I had COVID, but the best thing that happened to me, the best thing that happened to me is to live and see through this year. Tomorrow is not promised. But hopefully by tomorrow, by midnight tonight, we'll be in another year. We pray that we'll make it through another year. And another one, and another one. Because you ask me, I want to live 100 years. I don't know about Steve. I don't know about Steve Willie, but I want to live 100 years. And many people here, they don't want to die. I know everybody want to live forever and ever and ever. And that's not going to happen. At some point, we're all going to die. But at least you want to live a better year. Now, speaking of living a better year, how are you utilizing those years that you are living? Are you being useful or are you being useless? Let's all try to be useful to our family, to our friends, to our associates, to our country, and to the world. Let's be useful. Let's give life the true meaning, the true definition of life. The true definition of life, in my opinion, is to be impactful, to be able to impact the life of other people, to live your life to the fullest, but help other people live their life, the underprivileged. Nobody is rich, only God, the richest person. But if we pray for good health, long life, we must use our life the best way possible. We should use our life to impact our family, to impact the world, our friends, our brothers and sisters, our country, in the best way possible. Then your life will be useful. Then you have a reason to live. You do not have a reason to live if you are not useful. Trust me. So for me, before diving into what some of the things that happen, we talk about the personal things, first, because the reason why we did that, because if we're going to talk about other things and other people, we must tell you at least, what we experience, a portion of what we experienced during the last 12 months of 2020. And one of the good things that happened to SKTV is the growth, is the respect that we get from our friends and followers. And the growth of SKTV wouldn't have been possible without you. God first, but without you. Right now, as we speak, like I said the last time, having a platform with close to 300,000 followers and close to 40,000 likes You must be blessed. That is a blessing. That's why SKTV is now owned by me, is now owned by opposition, is now owned by government, is now owned by non-position, is owned by Liberian. Everybody belongs to everybody, and everyone is part of this family. That's why we welcome everyone, unless those who abuse their belonging. We on this platform, everybody that will come to watch, to participate, whether as a guest, whether just followers, whatever you age, we want you to feel that sense of belonging. Yeah, this is my own. This is our own. That's why we welcome everybody, regardless of our disagreement, regardless of our background, political orientation, religious, preference, or our country of origin. We don't care. As long as you are a Liberian and you do want the best for Liberia, we bring you on here. So, Mr. Bully, let me ask you, when it comes to Liberian politics, can you point to a few things that you consider a good thing that happened to Liberia in this year 2020, and then a couple of things that you think that were really bad for our country?
Well, I think there are a lot of good.
We're reviewing the year now, so go ahead.
I think some good things happened to Liberia and for Liberians, and not necessarily the doings of a person or the government, but in general, maybe it was just the grace of God. For example, the coronavirus did not hit our country like it hit other places, because it would have been a total wipe out, considering we don't have the means to, as a country, to take care or to contain this virus. To be very frank, we don't have the means to care for our people. We don't have the logistics. We don't have the finance. We don't have the training. We're not equipped. Just as a nation, we're not. And so the fact that we wake up daily, and when we speak to our family members back home, and they're healthy by the grace of God, regardless of the challenges, they're not complaining about the coronavirus that we in the West are complaining about it, and people are dying almost every day. I think it's a good thing for us as a nation. I think that's a good thing that happened to and for Liberia. Another good thing I would think about that happened to and for Liberia is the fact that there is peace and stability, regardless of the provocations. And I say provocations with F because it comes from both the opposition and the ruling party. Regardless of the provocations, regardless of the different noises, regardless of the different problems, the peace and stability is still in Liberia. And I wouldn't give that necessarily credit to one group of people or to one person. I think God first. Everyone has done something to maintain the peace. And I think I'll be grateful to God for Liberia. And I think that the good things that happened to Liberia is the fact that Liberians were able to speak in this time without their voices or their will being thwarted by politicians, such as through their votes. We saw the just ended elections on December 8th. It brought a sense and a sign of relief. For me, I saw it as a hope in the future. I saw it as a hope for the future, in the future, that politically, Liberians are awakening. It's no longer the back or rest campaign. We saw different things happening. But on the other hand, too, a lot of I would say these are some of the things I can pinpoint that have happened that was good for the country at large and that was good for Liberians. Another thing is I've not been able to keep track of the death toll of Liberians affected by this virus around the world, but I don't think it's that huge. Yet our community around the world has been affected, the Liberian community. And that's a good thing because other communities are affected so hardly, people are dying in numbers from either a certain race, certain religion, or certain group, Another thing I would be grateful to God for is for Liberia and for us Liberians, especially for us who come on the social media and so forth, we've been vindicated. The facts have been proven. When we speak against the ills in the government in Liberia, people say we hate the government, we hate the president. I gave you a typical example, the Kaduna Ghana case. Just the ruling alone from that case vindicated most of us. That what we have been saying, what we continue to say is the truth. So, all these factors during the years, these are major events, major plays that happened. And another good thing that happened, and I want to pinpoint this out. Another good thing that happened for Liberia in Liberia is the exposure, the use of technology to communicate, the exposure in the government, the hypocrisy of politicians to the Liberian people, bringing to the Liberian people on a daily basis live videos, live accounts, live happenings. Now, don't get me wrong, some people have used the truth to either exacerbate it or to gain some political relevance to some extent. Don't take that for granted. But all these good things have happened. And it's benefited us as a nation. And I think that's a plus. I think that's commendable. We've been able to work to do some of these things to make it happen. God first. And I think these are some of the things that benefit our people because the eyes of our people are opening. They're getting the messages daily through different mediums and different medias. No longer radio again. You don't have to buy radio. You can just get your phone and log on to Facebook Live or go back and watch what somebody said 2-3 hours ago or a day or two ago. So yes, these are some of the good things that happen to our nation and to our people. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm excited, and I think the future is good. But I know you said we should talk about some bad things that have happened. Well, there are some bad things that have happened, such as the economy. As we speak, the economy is very bad in these times. Very, 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 very bad. Very bad. Very bad for the country. Whether you want to blame it on Amara Kone or the elect government 12 years ago, which does not make any sense anyways. Whether you want to blame it on them or you want to take responsibility for it and say, yes, this is us. We did it. We cannot handle it. We've been doing wrong. That's very bad. Another thing that was very bad for the country was the killing of those auditors. Very bad. Very, 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 very bad. Especially for our image out there as Liberians, as a nation. Very bad. Very bad. Another thing that happened also again that was very bad for our country was the way in which the spike in the rape cases, violence in the country, disruption in the country, gender-based violence in the country, the spike in it. Very bad for the country. Very, 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 very bad, Mr. Kane. Very bad for the country. And yes, these are things that are very bad for the country. These are some of the bad things. Another thing too, that's very bad for the country, the blatant lie, disrespect of our constitution by almost all three branches of government in Liberia. Very bad. Very, very bad. Such as starting from the Supreme Court, Francis Kokwo and his crew. Such as the passport saga with Beson Garfine and what Andrew Wamplo. Such as some of the blatant disrespect of our constitution, when a sitting senator can sit and say they were given brown envelope in order to coerce other members to do the wrong thing, such as the attack on Darius Delo and other people who decided to stand for the truth. They want to get rid of them because they're standing for the truth. But in Liberian politics, they call that lobbying with your colleagues. So, all of these different factors, when they come together, very, very bad, Mr. Kane. Very, very bad for the country. very bad image for the country, very bad representation, such as also, I don't want to forget, the president misbehaving and being irresponsible, childish, and not being a presidential material, not taking responsibility in these times, passing around singing songs that don't make no sense. Very bad. I'm being honest, very, very bad. And we sit around with things such as the rise in mental health issues, drug addiction that we see almost every day, just lately. Very bad, Mr. Kanye. Very, 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 very bad. Such as watching even on TV or on live video. We see the president term himself as borrowed medicine, but the road from Grand Gira to Nima County, a problem. Very bad. Not only on Facebook. So the videos were altered. But I have family members that use that road, friends, loved ones that use that road, and they've told me how bad the road is. So you see, the country, it shows a lot of bad things going on.
So, if you will, what are your expectations, or what do you hope to see in the year 2020? As we dive into year 2020, in less than 12 hours, we will be in the year 2021. So, what are your expectations, or what do you hope to see?
My first expectation is every branch of government should get serious. Not interfering with the other one. That's my first expectation. To be quite honest with you, I have no personal expectation on anyone apart from the fact that they should do their job. My expectation for the country and the nation is they will get serious, especially the leaders, both within the opposition and within the ruling party. Mr. Kanye, I'll tell you something. Yesterday, I listened to General Prince Johnson, who said this over and over on this podcast and other places. General Prince Johnson was talking about the threats or the sadness or the unfortunate actions of the young people where everybody is either militarized or coerced to be militants and they're jumping around. My expectation is that will stop. We can't have a country. We can't have a country where everybody's militant, everybody's a military person. No, you can't do that. You're setting these young people up for violence, failure. My expectation is both the opposition and the ruling party will get themselves together on this. Stop making these young men and women, some of these grown men and women who still call themselves youths, stop letting them to wear khaki and jump around and call themselves militants, call themselves brigade. No. My expectation is all that nonsense will be put away. Let's get serious for once as a nation. Let's get serious. Let's move this country forward. It will take all of us. Let's move it forward. My expectation is we'll not be packing people in buses, in trucks to go wait for people to the airport. No. Cut it out. The opposition, the ruling party, you'll knock it off. You'll do some serious minor things. Empower these young people. Stop using them as stooges. And to the young people too, stop allowing yourself to be used as stooges. Let's empower one another. My expectation is the issue on rape, domestic violence in our country will be addressed. The president will either let Pisota go or Pisota will pull herself together and do the people's work, especially for women. No time to fool around again. You don't know the job, keep it moving. Bring somebody that knows the job, let them do it. Forget about the party landing. Liberia matters. Seriously, we'll crack down on some of these crimes. My expectation is Ajay Suru and Moses Carter either get serious or they be gone. Those two jokers, no time for them, no time to lie again, make excuses. That will be my honest expectation. The Justice Ministry will get serious. That will be my honest expectation. We need to put these things in check, Mr. Kanye. All of these things need to fall in line. They're not mutually exclusive. They need to work together. To be quite honest, we need to present this country as a serious country that wants to survive, that wants to move forward, that wants to thrive. We need to do that. And it requires all of us to do it. But the government will have to take the first step. Here is another expectation. My expectation is the new senators that are elected will not just be elected for flamboyancy, for joking around, and they come and do the same thing and recycle themselves. That is not the expectation. That is not the expectation. If that was the expectation, then we wasted time. We wasted resources and energy on people that will come and do the same thing. There is no need for that. My expectation is they will do the people's job. They will hold the president accountable, the executive accountable. They will do what is right, work with the executive when it's in the benefit of the people, uphold the Constitution, and do what is right. But this is my expectation on a broader basis for next year, that we'll unite. That even in our disagreement, we'll respect one another. But we'll not be afraid to call crooks crooks. We'll not be afraid to call criminals criminal. There is nothing wrong. That is not an insult. We'll call it as it is. But yet we can still work with people when they do wrong. My expectation is we drop the person worship mentality. That would be my honest expectation. My honest expectation is, yesterday you were speaking, I was just sitting and just listening and say, I wish women, my honest expectation is women would step up to the plate, support one another, regardless of your differences. My honest expectation is people will not come on social media sharing other women naked video, sharing people this one, sharing people naked parts. My honest expectation, all of these things will stop. All of these things will stop. If you have a difference with someone, or if you have some kind of differences, go and handle them. There are ways you can handle them. My expectation is people will not come and be passing around on talk show and say, the other person married, the other person do this, the other person do that one. People will not be destroying people's homes on social media. Let the people, even if a married person brings something, you cannot take it to the court. Look, there's a kind of expectation is Liberians, especially we in the diaspora, will grow up. Will grow up. We'll start scamming one another. My expectation is women will not go sit in groups to go against another woman, to insult another woman, to denigrate, disrespect another woman. Women will not do that. I don't care what kind of man you support or what kind of woman you support. Support them. My expectation is no one will create any problem between you and anybody. That will be my expectation. My expectation is people will not be insulting other people, insulting other people's mind, and people pulling in, doing all kind of things. That's my expectation. Let's be real about this. If we want change, let's change it. Let's talk about these things. That is my expectation. But
all right,
what I don't see change, Mr. Kane, because I know that was the second part of the question.
Yeah.
What I don't hope for, what I don't see change, is the CDC-led government. I've said this before. Most of the time, when you don't know how to do your job, or when you don't know how to do something, in the Liberian context, they see coming to ask for help. They see seeking help as a way of showing that you're weak, or people will laugh at you, or people will talk about you. They don't see it as a means to enhance their ability to learn from other people. That's what nations do. That's what good leaders do. Don't know everything. My expectation is what I don't expect is for the Joe Weah-led government to change. Nope. I'm saying it again. New Year Day today, I said the same thing last day. The Joe Weah-led government will not change.
Today.
Eh? New Year Eve today. Let me say it to the Liberian people. George Weah and his boys, they will not change. They don't know the job. They're shy to tell the people they don't know the job. They don't want to seek help. They do that thing what we do in Labrador called dig hole, cover hole, or that thing where I can hear them saying Steve from Steve make God laugh. They think that they must use crooked means to continue to maintain them in the position they are in. But eventually it catches up with you though. And that's where we are with the economy today. They don't know the job. Samuel Twe does not know the job. The job is big for Samuel Twe. He doesn't know the job. He doesn't want to seek help to do the job. So they will not change. But another expectation that I know that most likely might not change is this though. And I want to say, I want to be clear about it. The mindset of the people where they think that the party is supreme, or we got to defend this person because we elected them. That will not change. It will take years to change. It will. I can admit that today. It will take years. But we still have to speak on it and talk about it. It will not change. You will see grown-up men, grown-up women. But after we leave the show, they will go and do the same thing we're talking about here. So those things will not change.
All right, Steve Bole, thank you very, very much for that brilliant analysis. And putting forth your expectation and hope for Liberia. I want to say thank you to all our friends and supporters for following. Once again, I'm Sekou Kenan, and on the other side of the screen is Steve Boley. For those of you who just joining us, this is SKTV. We want to welcome you. I want to say thank you for joining us. For me, I do not expect much in terms of Liberian politics. I believe the Liberian government will attempt to change. They will attempt to change. But whether or not it's going to be a genuine attempt or a genuine change for the betterment of Liberia, I'm not sure. When I say they will attempt or they might attempt to change, because they have heard the people cry over and again. Specifically, the president have heard what the Liberian people want. So, leaving what they want and do something else, because you know exactly what the Liberian people want, and they have made it very clear. So, leaving that and do something else, that will show that you do not intend to change. If you ask me, what are some of the good things and bad things that I want to talk about in Liberia, vis-a-vis Liberian politics? I think the election, this current election, the one that just happened, December 8th, was one of the best things that ever happened to Liberia. Not because who won or who lost, but because of the fact that Liberian people have shown to us, or they have proven to the world, that Liberians, we got some brain in there. Our hair are not empty. Because Liberians, we were noted for being back of rice or cash violence voters. And people took advantage of that over and over to exploit the country. Even this whole 16 billion thing, it was created purposely to advance the political agenda of certain group of people. It was not meant to really promote Liberia or to uplift Liberians. It was meant to be infused into political campaign to give advantage to one group of people over the others. The lack of seriousness, the lack of the level of dishonesty in our people. So to see Liberians saying that, well, here's the thing, even if this election was going to go the other way, let's say the way of the current leadership government, if they all went and do the right thing and campaign rightly without bringing money into the whole thing, campaign is expensive. So you cannot campaign without money, but the manner in which the money is used, that's what we're talking about here. Because campaign, you pay for a lot of things. You pay for flyers, you pay for airtime, You will do this, you will do that. Those are all campaign expenses. You will buy a car, you will go around. But to take bunch of money or bags of money, put it on the table like this, distributing it on people. Is even that is considered as money laundering. That's not supposed to happen. That's not even how transactions should happen. Having huge cash, moving huge cash around in the car, is money laundering. Is money laundering. Some people think maybe because it's not United States dollar, or maybe you're not taking money from somebody right away, but carrying huge amount of money. That's why here in America, you cannot carry a certain amount of money with you. When you are caught with certain money with you, the money will be taken away from you and will be investigated as the source of the money. So to see Liberians saying that, well, enough is enough, we cannot be bought anymore, I think that was one of the good things that happened. And one of the good things that happened for me, and many people I believe, is the election of Darius Diron and Yomli Kanga Lawrence. And here's why. If you never involved in an election before, you don't know what it takes to lose. Or you will not know what it takes to win. Trust me. Winning is the big thing, and losing is the worst thing that can happen to anybody in an election. So I've been in an election, I've won, I've lost. So I know exactly what it is. And not only that, not only you that is running, but people behind you, people who put their credibility, their money, their finances, their integrity on the line, that this person must win. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And one of the good things that also happened, we were able to alarm every plan, every unlawful plan that were devised by the government and their supporters to disrupt the democratic process in Liberia. We talk about everything that they plan to do. That also kind of stopped the people from doing some of the wrong thing that they wanted to do. And one of the good things that happened also is that Liberia as a country, to have free and fair election, I would not say fair, but to have free election, to have a peaceful election, that is one of the best things that ever happened. Especially after having the government that we have right now that has been accused of murdering a lot of people, and with they coming out to refute some of those allegations. To have an election in that kind of country and people accepting the result of the election, that speaks volume of our country. It means that we are evolving, that we are moving forward as a country. That's one of the good things. What do I expect, and what do I want, what do I hope to see in Liberia moving forward into 2021? I would love to see opposition, non-position government being open-minded with each other. Allow a conversation to happen. If we are emulating the example of the United States, we should not do it in piecemeal. We should accept the democratic process, the tenets of democracy holistically. Let's accept each other. Let's have a conversation. Let opposition people go to, some of the unfriendly platform and preach their message. If you think you're not making sense, put sense in there, in their heads. If you have it, say your message to everybody. Go to any platform. You never know. Same thing with the government. If you're not afraid of doing the right thing, open yourself to everybody. Do not limit yourself. We should not also see each other as enemies. Let's be honest to ourselves. And let's tone down the rhetoric. When I say tone down, let's be friendly. We can disagree. We can point to each other's flaws, but do it in an intellectual fashion. Don't promote hate. Don't promote hate. Don't pray for somebody to die. And when somebody dies, don't jubilate. Do not jubilate. Do not be dancing on the street because somebody is dead. Those are the kind of things that can create hatred. Stop the witch hunt. Just do the right thing. Do not wish on anybody. Let me tell you something. Even me, I was supposed to be in Liberia, but some of the people that were advocating Sekou, come. They came to a point, told me Sekou, don't come, because of the level of threat to my life. How do you expect me to support you when I cannot even be free to go in my own country because of you? How do you expect me to support you? How do you expect me to support you when you're not tolerant of your critics? And I'm not going to shut up. Yeah. And those people will not shut up. I know a lot of other people, they will not shut up. They will talk. So how do you expect people to go to the country when you have the gun, you have the military, you have everything at your disposal? And that's supposed to be my country. But I'm not free to go there for the fear of being attacked, for the fear of being murdered, for the fear of being witch hunted. Let's tone it down. I hope the government, the president, moving forward into 2021, will speak out more. Don't worry about the way you talk. Don't worry about, some of the pronunciation you make. Those are not anything. President Doe was not educated. President Doe spoke a lot of bad English, but he was smart. Even though, to some extent, his followers also made him like a buku man, because a lot of people in those government, they kill other people brutally. But Doe, as a person, Doe too was not a bad person. But Doe was unable to control the people around him. The likes of Harrison Penner, the likes of Charles Julu. I'm not trying to remind people of the Nimba raid. I know exactly what happened. So because of those things build some high level of resentment and hatred for each other. So because of that, other people will always turn to fight back. How will you call a country your own when you cannot freely go into your country? What will happen? You will have to fight back. Nowadays, we are fighting back with media. But other people elected to, to go the other way. Other people choose to, to say, you know what? If I cannot go in my own country, I will go there some kind of way. They took arm in return. Even the whole civil war, if you look at Liberia, let's take the Ulimo thing for example. When Mandingo people and Crown people were witch hunted, were chased out of Liberia, people were looking for them as like chicken to be slaughtered. They were driven out, going to a country that had never been before, some of them, to go live as refugees, to live in a country where people will be laughing at them. They will be where United Nations have to come to to help them to survive with food. That gave birth to Ulimo. When people are pushed against the wall, they will bounce back. That's the fact. Ulimo was founded by people who felt that they were driven out of their country. The Crown people who were in the government and Mandingo people who were witch hunted because of their religion and tribe, who were being slaughtered. So they came together to say, you know what, we have to go back. The same scenario here. They fight to see diaspora Liberians galvanizing against this government in this manner. It's because of the brutal manner and the lack of leadership on the part of the president to say, hey, don't do this. When you have a country wherein government critics are considered as enemy of the state, where females who are advocating, they're being insulted and disrespected on a daily basis and be threatened that when you come to Liberia, we'll do this to you, we'll rape you, we'll kill you. And the president says nothing. In a country where Nathaniel McGill, the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, bringing in former rebel generals, having meeting with them, empowering rebel who govern themselves now as death squad, who threatening other people, even lawmakers, in a country where a former rebel coming to threaten lawmaker that we will go arrest him. Some people will hate you just because of that. So what kind of country is this? And you're not saying anything about it. Just standing down, think you're having fun. And the country does not belong to you. It belongs to everybody. You think how other people will feel? The love for Yekeh by many people is not because Yekeh is doing anything that they really like, but it's a rejection of the policy of George Weah. If you ask Yekeh right now about legislation, oversight, and this and that, he will not give you a lot. He will not tell you a lot. And you can tell some of the behavior of Yekeh are unacceptable. But people are supporting those things now. People think those things are okay because of the rejection of Weah's policy. Because people see Yekeh as a victim. Because Yekeh have been witch hunted for no reason, for speaking out. Yekeh is not the best lawmaker. And the way Yekeh talks, not everybody subscribe to that. Not everybody like the way he talks. But the manner in which Yekeh has been witch hunted to the point where he had to send his family out of the country, Yekeh has been looked at as a victim. So even somebody who doesn't like Yekeh for what he does, the way he talks, but they will sympathize with him. Like me. I personally don't like everything Yekeh is doing, the way he talks. I will not talk like that. And I will advise other representatives or senators to talk like that. But yet, Yekeh being looked at as a victim. So it is this woman that have created a lot of enemy for themselves, for herself. So moving into 2023, 2021, I would love to see the president speaking out more. Not on everything, but some of the good things when they happen, come and show and have fun with the people. Not just see this year, but the country. And if some bad things happen, speak out. Speak in public, speak in private. When Nathaniel McGill called all those generals into the compound and the people spoke against it and said this was bad, the president should have said something or should have done something about it. And all those things that those guys been doing, like for example, Eugene Fagon going as minister, going and insult other people, even threatening other people's life. You are creating more enemy for yourself. You are galvanizing support for other people. But first, once again, we have a surprise guest here. We will try to bring the guest on to see, that would be like another good thing that happened in 2023, in 2020. But it means that 2021 is promising. One of our beautiful, intelligent, educated, and service-oriented sister is here to be a part of this platform. Nobody else but the person called Tevina Cole. Service-oriented sister is here to be a part of this platform. So you need to sit down the person they call Tevina Cole. All right, welcome to SKTV.
Hello, everybody.
So happy New Year.
Okay. Hello. Something's wrong with my audio. I'm sorry.
It's good.
Let me work on my audio.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. My audio. I had you on mute. Hi, Steve. Hi, Sekou. Glad to share your space today. Happy New Year to your audience.
Happy New Year to you. And then, Steve, I want to welcome Teko. And I don't know what to say. The whole year of 2020, she did not show up. Only the last day she showed up, but we always say it's better late than never. So you want to welcome her?
Yeah, well, we want to welcome Tevina, welcome as always. And what say you about what we are discussing? I know you probably been listening or following. What say you?
Yeah, I've been following. You guys have said a lot. About from leadership.
Wait a minute, before you go, there's certain thing on your head there. Is that the New Year celebration?
Absolutely. You know,
I love it. The celebration is good. I love it.
Right. Champagne,
I can see it. It's nice. Go ahead.
Strong. Yeah. So so you guys talk about the worst. I think you guys started with the best thing and the worst thing. In 2020, just to be alive, I'm grateful for that. There are some ups and downs, not as the way we should. We're kind of still restricted, all the things you love to do. I like traveling and stuff like that. And some goals that I had set, personal goals, and even goals for things in Liberia. Couldn't do that because of COVID. So we did some, couldn't do it. The worst thing, I just heard some bad news about, this leadership just being the worst. Let me just say that. I don't get involved with too much of the deep politics, but it's just been the worst as far as governing. And I got some reports about the safe houses and, gender and just all of that, and just being really disgusting. very disgusting. I mean, the expectation has been very low for gender, but just hearing how, the secondary victimization or rape victims, in safe houses and how they've been treated and how they're being used for, for cash purposes or to generate revenue. And they're there, they leave the homes of their victims and then they come there, the homes of their rapists, and they come there and some of them are not in school, they're not being properly cared for, just like double victimization. I mean, Steve will know better. They didn't want several human minds. So for me, that's just the worst thing. I mean, I could have heard.
Before you go further, I just want to take this opportunity to welcome Senator Ibrahim Daras Dillon. Senator Dillon, welcome. As always, when he shows up, we always welcome him. We say thank you for being a part of SKTV family. In as much as we, they say you can't beat your leader, right? But we got some lashes, reserved for him. We got some political lashes reserved for the senator. However, I want to welcome the senator. Senator Dillon, welcome to SKTV. I want to say thank you for being one of the aiding followers of SKTV and also a participant at some point. But I want to welcome you. I want to say thank you. Every time we see any of our leaders come here, any of the leaders come, we always, stop. We pause a little bit, welcome them, and then continue with the platform, with the discussion, just by way of respect, to recognize his presence. And if there is any other person here who is a leader, one of the leaders in our country, we will recognize them. But the one I can see, sometimes if you don't say anything, I will not even see it. But I just saw him wrote some good stuff, about the new year. We hope to see Dillon being the light that have been projected. He started on a very good note. For the year 2020. Let's see what 2021 will bring. So, Mr. Steve Bolle, to the point, what do you make of Tevina Cole coming late in the year? So, what do you expect of Tevina Cole going into 2021 in terms of participation on SKTV and being, she been one of the, actually, on a serious note, she been one of the very pragmatic person, if you will, young lady who really mean well for Liberia. So it is a blessing to see her on here, to be a participant on SKTV moving forward. So what are your expectations, Steve?
Well, I'm about to put Tevina on the spot because we normally speak, but we've never had these kind of conversations. That some expectation I'm going to lay out for her. We never talk about it, and these are some of the things that make us authentic and sticking with the issues. Because we can be best friends today, or we can be cool, but when it comes to the issues, we must address them regardless of our relationships. And so, that being said, one of my expectations for Tevina Cole is to move across the aisle, to reach out to other ladies, other women, other girls. I think one of the best things we can do for ourselves, especially those who are in leadership position or have some mantle of authorities to be able to help other people, is to reach out to other people, regardless of your differences, because there are some things that we can work on together. So one of my expectations this year would be to see Tevina Cole reaching out. But not only that, another expectation would also be to, for Tevina Cole to make her presence felt more, because it's critically important that when you have a voice and people look up to you to some extent, to make them know and feel that you are there, and not just in and out. In Liberia, I hear most of the time the people can say, leader. Then when you bring yourself down to the podium, reflect, that is not true. If people want to feel the leader, they want a leader to be around. So that's one of my expectations. Another expectation I will really have for Tevina Cole is to push forward the SGBV group that she founded and that I'm part of as a board member, to ensure that the government is held accountable through reaching out to other lawmakers and other representatives, senators, to ensure that general ministry is held accountable, and to ensure that they do their job. Minister Kisota is not just sitting around, because this is time for business. We got to take care of business, especially with the roadmap issue. How far are they? What are they doing about it? How realistic is even the roadmap issue? And how can we drop down that number of abuse, assault on our children, our women, our mothers? These are very important things that I would really like to see Javinako. And Javinako, fully speaking, your presence will be highly needed, in a collaborative form with other women as well. Those are my expectations for you for next year. I know they are too much, but these are some of the things I look forward to.
I love it.
So if I may ask you, you're going to respond to
absolutely.
So if I may ask you, what are your expectations for Liberia going into 2021? And do you think those expectations are doable?
When you say Liberia, I need to parse it out into leadership and then citizens. For leadership, the bar is high. I'm somebody who've worked in government, still working in government, so I know the expectations of my government. And so the first thing is they have to lead appropriately, tune from the top. I mean, we can stress that enough for President Weah clean down. He has to set that stage for his deputies and others to follow. So I expect them to lead appropriately. You're in the role, you must deliver. Most of them are in a role that they should not be in. They were given it based on friendship or whatever it is, but it's still not too late. All is not lost. They have 3 years to recover. I say 3 years. There must be a willingness to do it. Nobody's perfect, but there must be a willingness to make that change. And I'm hearing about changes. So I'm hoping that they would pull out those people that should not be in those roles, that do not have the credentials, that do not have the skills, knowledge, and experience to deliver. Take them out of their role and put people who will make it happen. It doesn't matter if you're from opposition, in position, what position. Bring in the technocrats, bring in the people who have the know-how to make it happen. Because at the end of the day, Liberia first. And if it is successful, everybody win. Everybody win. So that's the expectation for me for Liberia. Now, when it comes to the citizens, I expect more civility. People disagree, but at the end of the day, agree. Be civil even in your disagreement. But I see a lot of fighting. People stay in fight mode that is still fighting war. Some of these things I watch it, read silently. I follow from both sides, what are imposition, opposition, the way they come at you. And then some of the leaders are part of it. I'm going to call their names. Like the Fagon, I don't know him. I'm not in no party, so I can speak. Nobody gonna tie me to no party. You're assistant minister. Speak as one, act as one. You cannot be in the fight mode all the time. So if the leaders start behaving a certain way, and then other people, I think then the followers will follow suit. As somebody talk about militant, I think that Steve was mentioning that when I was trying to get dressed. But it will help even their followers see these children think they're still in war mode. They act that way. What gets to me is this whole chanting thing. Whatever that chant is, do away with. Do it for a little bit, but you spend 15, 20 minutes chanting. Everybody got their disciples. I mean, got all these young people, they're just wasting their lives, So I expect more of that. I expect more cohesion among, individuals, even in the social space. I expect more cohesion, even if you disagree from all parties. I see all the parties. I'm not going to call their names, not that I'm afraid of any one of these parties, but you can't talk about a certain party, leadership. And then, I would say it's almost like bulldog come at you to cut your neck off because you talk about this person leadership or what you think that is not of this person. Be considerate. Everybody needed criticism to grow. Steve is a very good friend of mine, but I'm glad that he mentioned what he mentioned. This is my first time he's talking about it. Some of which I'm already doing, but I will speak to that. But so that's what I expect. That's what I expect from the leadership. That's it. And I really want to speak to Steve's concerns.
Go ahead.
I made some notes here. Steve talked about reaching across the aisle. I will say that I've done it in some ways, but again, I love the feedback. I think I'll do it more and more. And when I say in some ways, one way that I've started that I did that was, I mean, two ways. When I think Sekou mentioned last year about the Liberian Women Conference. I didn't know the parties involved. I saw it on Facebook. I was passionate. I mean, I'm still passionate about women cause. Let me say I was. And so I reached out to the leaders of that for that party and say, hey, I'm interested in what you're doing. I think I can add some value here. I'm glad to say that I was part of the people that organized that successful conference. Also, even during the COVID, given the spike of gender violence all around the world, and then our country was not doing anything about the leadership. Although I have my own personal nonprofit, which was solely based on skills building because I love to impact lives and build skills in whatever way, but I felt like, okay, we need to form a movement here, a collaboration. So if Sekou got her nonprofit, on women issue, Mary Brown got hers, Susan got hers, maintain your nonprofit, but collectively let's come together because with our united front, we can accomplish much. And so most of the people that I reached out to, maybe about 24 of these women, probably 2 of them I knew, but I followed their social media just because I knew that they advocate for women and children, and the rest will leave it right there. But so that's where it is. But I understand. I'm willing to reach out. I'm not the one person that really do much on social media. Quite honestly, it's only because I've been working from home, so I got some little free time to just poke in here, there, on videos. But for the most part, I like to lead from behind. I do more infographics or postings and stuff like that. I'm not the kind of person who would do the 3-hour video or 1-hour video or whatever it is. You can barely get me to get a 20 minutes video out of me. But yes, I will work on that. And to Steve's point about being visible, I love the feedback. I hate to talk about myself, but because he put me on the spot, I'm, in as much as I appeared like somebody who is upfront and bubbly and, like to talk, but I'm more of a one-on-one person. I'm not a talking person in social space. And so most times when people invite me on that platform, I'll be very honest, and I think Steve knows that, I declined it. FOL, the Spoon, everybody, even Sekou, I declined all of them. So, but I need to work on that because if we're working on gender issues, especially in Liberia, we need to be more, forthcoming. We need to appear on these platforms, especially people that Sekou and all these platforms that people follow you a lot, that we need to appear there and keep hammering the issues until we see the change, we get the change we want to see. So that is on my list for 2021 and beyond, that I'll be more visible. And that's why I agreed to come and talk about year in review today. So I will close my mouth before I can't dominate your whole show and let everybody else talk.
No. You're not dominating. We've been talking a lot before you came, so you have the whole time to talk as long as you want to talk. So, yeah, Steve, one thing that she just talked about, I want you to really also touch is the fact that with Liberian women, yesterday we had a show specifically about Liberian women. And while we were doing that, there were a lot of emotion, and a lot of women really took it to heart. And some of them promised to do better moving forward. Do you see that coming? Do you see the willingness in all of them to really unite and pull abroad first and let go of the personal ego, as opposed to putting abroad first?
I think there is a possibility. I think there are avenues and there are rooms. I also think that if this is done, I think we will have one of the best countries, one of the best diaspora Liberians that have ever existed in the history of those of us, our people, and some of us who live in the diaspora. And that will even translate back home. Because what women don't understand, most women, what they don't understand is the power of their unity They don't understand that the power of their unity can move and drive things. Imagine you are Christian. This is what the Bible says. The Bible says that the women are the neck. They didn't say that the head, we say that the neck. But the question I've always asked myself, why the Bible got to place a strategic and say women are the neck? If you look at it for truth, the head cannot turn over the neck. The neck determines where the head would end. That's why you don't want to mess with your neck. You want to make sure your neck is able to support even your head, because the neck supports the head. The head does not tell the neck what to turn. The neck is actually controlling the head. So what am I trying to say in a nutshell? I'm trying to say in a nutshell that this is a perfect opportunity for women. This is a perfect opportunity. And Mr. Tanner, here's the funny part though, and the interesting part. When you actually go to find out why they are not united, most of the times it's not even their own issues with the person.
Mm-hmm.
It is either somebody's issue or is another gender's issue. Which, in essence, one of the questions I asked a female friend is this. I say, I want you to answer this question. Have you ever seen men undermine another man's interest? She said, what do you mean? I said, have you ever seen a man pass around and show another man making video around because the man found out that this man was with another woman that he wants to be with? Or have you ever seen men, for truth, in real life, have you ever seen men want to do something and another man get them there and undermine that interest? No. The reason is men, we are united on these fronts. See what, typical example, see what CDC did. They took 15 men. Even when we spoke, they still took 15 men. But guess who were promoting these 15 men though? Oh, women though. Yeah. Women, they didn't stand to question them. They said, why? I said, we don't have a representation. So all I'm saying to the women and to Telvina, and to everybody who's watching us today and that will watch us tomorrow, look, there is power and unity in women collaboration. And that's what one of the secrets I will say today, that's what most men don't want. So they come in the middle and divide you. That's what most men, I know the men will help me for that. But this is a fact. Most men don't want women to come together because they understand the power. So it is critically important if we move Liberia forward. I will say this, that women will have to unite. On some real note, I'm not saying unite to fight against men, but be united and support each other, uplift each other, promote each other. Support each other in your week when you have your differences, you'll talk about it. That's what I will say to the women.
So Tevina, we talk about women empowerment. We talk about women in politics yesterday, and a lot of people were impressed on the presentation yesterday. A lot of women, for that matter. So, moving forward, do you see that coming through? Specifically, since you are not that much involved in politics in the open, but should we expect Tevina Cole and other people taking the lead to make sure that you have more women representation in the Liberian government, specifically in the House of Representatives or the Senate? Will you take on that challenge?
Absolutely. I mean, even though I don't get involved with the politics, because I feel that so many people are talking about the politics. So let me switch to gender and other people. But I strongly believe that women should have a seat at the table, any table for that matter. We don't belong in the kitchen. Some women feel that by default, they go to a party, go to a function. Let me go in the kitchen, yeah. Let me go in the back there. You don't belong there. If a man is sitting to the table, you belong to the table. If 10 men are having a discussion here, you belong in that discussion. You can add value. I can walk into any discussion with 100 men and make my presence felt. And so it's important, I have no interest of being, Liberian, Senate or whatever it is. But my role is to empower women, and which we try to do every day, to encourage them, the women that are in leadership, that you can do it. Do it. Go for it. If that's your aspiration, we support you. We support you in our words. We support you in our finances if we need to, whatever way. And then for the young ones that are growing up, if they have interest of being in the Senate, do that. Yumli is there. She can do it all. Yumli is my senior from race, a very strong woman. I got enough punishment for her when I was on the mission because I was frisky. But she's an iron woman. She can do it. She make it happen, but she needs help. She needs a lot of voices in there so that she can be able to roll like the way she needs to roll. That is a fighting giant over there. I know Yumli from the time I was a little girl, middle school race, but she needs help. She can't do it all. So we need to empower our women. We empower them more and more, in the things they're doing. And it starts from school, from middle school, high school. We need to start going to schools and colleges and talking to these girls, having sessions about it, empowering them. It starts from there before it go into leadership. And the ones that are going forth, we need to support them. And we're, to your point yesterday, we're not supporting them as much. I lost Senator Dillon. I may not put him on my head like everybody else, but he knows exactly how I feel about him and the work he's doing. But to your point, and everybody point, the way the women support Senator Dillon, they don't do the same thing for Yumli or the other woman and all of that. So we need to do better. We need to do better. Whatever that is happening, we need to do better. Yumli may not be the focusing a lot on social media to Senator Dillon, but whatever way that we need to support her, and if it means that we need to tell her that she needs to be more visible on social media, then we'll get that to her, that she become more visible so she can be interactive. Everybody can be the same. Everybody got different personalities. Yumli's personality is totally different with Senator Dillon, but she's approachable. I mean, I know her. She must see her own race. Like I said, she punished me enough on her own race, but she's approachable. So I think we should support her and other women. But again, it starts from school, and it's everybody's responsibility. So it can happen. It can happen. And then we fast forward to diaspora, like you said, the change. It can happen. The thing is, it starts from within. We have to walk our talk, Sekou or Steve. We can't just talk and say, women need to get together wherever it is. We need to walk our talk. Talking it in the podcast or putting it in a post. No, your actions, your thoughts, your way of life, everything should coincide. And that is our problem. Oh, I get along with women wherever it is. And I'm not taking myself from in there. We need to walk our talk.
Yeah, so let's leave politics a little bit just to go to something that you are passionate about, the women issue, the gender-based violence, and everything going on. So what are some of the expectations of that group moving into 2021?
What group? The gender ministry or my group?
Your group.
Oh, my group. Okay. Well, we have a lot going on. Like that group, our focus has been education and awareness. We do, some giving back as far as, money or whatever it is. But the key focus of our group is awareness and like I said, education. So we've been doing a lot of that. If you follow us closely, other people follow us. We go into, parts of the county and in cities and things and do outreach and give out bumper stickers and posters and put it everywhere in market stalls, in communities and stuff like that, and talking to people and even engaging gender too. People feel like because I'm on gender case 24/7, so I'm at war with them. No, it's the issue. Today, people talk we friends. Obviously acquaintance. I'm not at war with them. Matter of fact, I talk to the deputy, one or two of the deputies a lot. I won't call his name, but we talk a lot. And we talk on gender issue. I'm able to pick up my phone now and call him. He answers my call. What's going on with the roadmap? That's my question to him. What's going on with the roadmap? In October, you guys say you're going to do 30 things, which is not doable, but you say you would do it. What % of it have you done? So tell me, they all call me Telco. We haven't done this, we have done this, this is what we plan to do, whatever it is. But if you haven't done this, you need to do this. You need to follow through on this. You need to speak to the public on this. You can just be working silo. So we be hammering them from the back, but we don't make podcasts or everything. But we have that relationship with them. We email them. I pick up my phone anytime. The members of the group pick up the phone anytime. And so we're holding them accountable. I have put together a spreadsheet of the roadmap, not the whole roadmap, but just from October to December, of things that they should have done and have not done. Because if you look at the roadmap, I'm not sure, I know you guys talk about a lot of things, but when you look at the roadmap, they have not even implemented 5% of the things they said they would do in the roadmap. Little things as far as concept note. These are things that you should have done before you even put forth the roadmap. You cannot just throw numbers on the piece of paper and say, we need $6 million, and there's no supporting things to support that. So we're holding them accountable for that. Later on today, I will do a podcast on just for 3 months to see all the things they said they will do, they have not done. They promised that they will even have a conference. One of the many things, we'll have a conference at the end of this year. We got yet to see that conference. Maybe it will happen tonight at midnight because we got a few hours to go. But so that's some of the things we're doing. Another thing we found out that gender does not supervise the safe houses. The safe houses, they're just there. They got the children there, and they're using them for cash ponds, and the children not going to school. They're not being cared of. These are things they should do. If I come into leadership, this gender administrator, and I'm talking about all of them, not on the piece of time, because she and her deputies, that's the first thing they should have done. Go and audit or do a review of those safe houses, look at the issues there, do a risk analysis, and also use that to form your annual plan. 3 years into leadership, you don't even know what going to safe houses. When the safe houses know that these people come in there to give their children food or whatever, they dress them all in clean clothes. You don't tell nobody and pretend that all is well. What are you doing over there? You take picture, put it on with Jenna, with George Weah, or take picture with EU or whoever else. I mean, that's unacceptable. They're not monitoring. They're not doing what they said they would do. So that is our role. That is our role to hold them accountable. We've reached out to them. Part of our group, we've reached out to them and say, hey, you don't have a website. You pretty much have a blog page. If I look on your website, whatever you call it, because there's not a website, I can find information that I need. I should be able to go on there and say, hey, I want to know last quarter report of gender issues, how many cases that were taken to court, how many cases were pulled out, whatever. It's not that if you go on gender website, the last report on there is for 2015. Where are we? What is important to these people? When we say it, some people think it's hate or maybe one role, you won the role. I have no interest in working in Liberian government, quite honestly, not now or later. At the end of the day, we want it to be safe. And we wanted to
if the Liberian asked you to work for them, you will not do it?
No, not a full-time role. I've offered, and our team have offered that we will help them to build their capacity because we know that they needed help. But to say I will leave my job or leave everything that I leave America or everything that I am, my McDonald's job to go working in the government, no, I have no interest. But I'm willing to help. I'm willing to help, whether through a consultant role, free role, whatever it is, we're willing. And we've expressed it to them over and over in telephone conversations, in emails. We've expressed it in podcasts. We're willing to help. We're willing to help because at the end of the day, it's the vulnerables that suffer. But to them, they either embarrassed or they see it's a sign of weakness for them. And sometimes they feel threatened that you want their role. No interest. I promised. I've asked them. They've asked me over and over. Some of the ministers have asked me and said, Talvina, we heard ANC is grooming you to be minister. I said, what they call ANC? What they call ANC? Because I'm not with any party. I don't even know what they call ANC. So I don't know.
I disagree with that. Maybe you're not with ANC, but to say you don't know what is ANC.
I don't know ANC.
So, how come ANC put a kind of stuff also?
I don't know ANC because I don't know no party. I don't affiliate with no party. I don't align with any party. That's one of my points. So I don't want to time you, but one of the deputies or whatever asked me and said, oh, we heard ANC is grooming you to be gender minister. I said, not today, tomorrow. No.
So they have the feeling that ANC is going to one day be the government. So they're already choosing ministers for ANC.
I don't know. And I have no ties with ANC. I don't even know who ANC or what about it. I close my eye to all these party stuff. I don't get involved, nothing. The only thing catch my attention on Facebook, gender issues, fraud, waste, and abuse. Everything else, my ears are closed. It's too much for me. So back to the subject, I'll shut my mouth because somebody said, this sister can talk plenty. Yes, I can talk. Don't get me started.
Okay, well, go ahead.
No,
that's why we are here to talk.
Yearly review, right? Yeah,
exactly. So go ahead.
So yeah, that's my expectation. I mean, that's the expectation of our group. We're on it. We have put together a yearly map. I mean, a yearly plan for our group. Right now, it's in review. We're going to make it public, and we're going to be doing it. But at the same time, we're holding the government accountable. And that's why we're going to put those things about the roadmap out there so everybody can know. I've been putting on my page and talking about it. I'm going to pound that more. And one of the things Steve talking about reaching out. I'm going to be going from platform to platform. If others want to join, other women, other men, other people want to join, let's form a united front and talk about this roadmap. Because that's the only way these people will get out of their comfort zone to do what is expected of them. You can't have people in roles and they're not functioning and they're just there day after day. We have to put the heat on them for them to move. Trust me, we have to. We have to. They do it here in America, we will do it there. They have to move. We're not going to make them complacent and make their roles comfortable for them unless they are functioning. So we're on it. We're on it.
Fair enough. Steve Bully?
Yes. So I got a question for Tel in regards to the GBV role, especially going back to, and this is, again, not to be political, but what has been the role of women in undermining the agenda of women, especially when it comes to, for example, the most recent walk or march or parade or however you want to call it, or protest that they had when there was an increase in a spike in gender-based violence in Liberia. What was the role of the women in order to either enhance that process to make it appear more seriously or to undermine it? What do you think the role of women was or should be?
I mean, some lessons learned from that. I didn't follow it from top to bottom. Like I said, so I'll be very honest with you. The protest, in as much as I supported it because I needed something to be done, we didn't know about it until 2 days before. I understand that some people were provided official letters, but I'm not sure who were the crafters or the leaders of that protest. But I think that they should have reached across the aisle and to heads of all gender groups and say, hey, we want to do this. And so we all can put ideas together, and so we can move it forward. Some people know how to plan, some people know how to do other things, and together you can make it work. But it happened, it was successful at the time. But what I noticed is that a lot of people were not involved, and especially in Liberia, what I noticed also, when you call protests, I'm talking about other protests, but on gender issue, the people that's supposed to be there, the leaders or other people, they're not there. You just got these young people, like my children age, they're out there protesting. Everybody needs to get involved and a lot more. And especially people in leadership, make it look like, it's their thing and they need to just ride around in their car and let the young people to do whatever it is. They need to get involved because that's some of the reasons why. Some of the reasons will make the government take them seriously. When you get the other people involved, you just leave the young people there, make it like it's a young people thing. So I think they need to be more supportive, but also to the organizers of that group should have reached a lot more. They should have planned a lot more. After now, the protest being over, since September, what next? We've heard nothing. Maybe they've been reaching out to Gender Talent Day, but I've expected to hear more. Where they're having series of podcasts, they're having series of press conferences, they're going to gender, they're doing a follow-up protest, and do what they need to do to hold gender accountable. Knocking at the door, they have to deliver. I'm not seeing that. I'm not hearing that. Maybe I'm not listening enough. Somebody got to bring me up to speed to that, but I'm not seeing that. Steve, please, if you've seen or heard, please let me know.
Well, that's fair enough. So Steve Bully, going back to 2020, even though we stay in 2020, but we are still reviewing this year. The money thing, this question has to do with transparency and the Liberian mentality that when something happens, people want to talk about it for 1 or 2 weeks, and then we'll put it behind, and then we're looking for the next problem to talk about. We're leaving all the other ones unresolved. So do you think the end of 2020 will be the closing of all the other money business we've been talking about? The 16 billion, the 25 million, things that were not resolved, And based on some of those things that Liberian people are asking Samuel Tuah to resign or to be fired, and those things were not really were not properly addressed. And besides, Nathaniel Patrick from the central bank, who was given money for doing the wrong thing, he was paid off for doing the wrong thing. One day he said money were not accounted for. Then another day he said all the money that were printed were accounted for. But all those things, we are talking about the government changing. We are talking about the possibility of this government changing to do the right thing. So do you think by putting 2020 behind us, are we going to put everything behind us? All the money that got missing, the 25 million, the 16 million, without clear understanding as to what really happened to those money, we're going to put everything behind us and just move on to the next chapter?
I think the biggest mistake that will be made is if we go with this illusion or delusion that let's just enter the new year and let's forget about everything that happened in 2020 and let's not talk about it. We got a new bunch of senators coming in, so let's just move forward. No, that is not how life is. That's not how life works. So one of the things that I have said here openly, that one of my expectations for the senators is to revisit some of these things. First of all, there is a big question mark in why was Nathaniel Patrick given the huge amount of money he was given, considering when he came in, not only that there were money discrepancy, but also on a serious and a bigger note, the economy was not good. So why did he get such money, and where did he get this money from? Was it the Liberian people funding it to pay him off, to let him go? These are things that need to be, the senators need to visit. The security sector, they need to, remember I said this thing here, the reason Senator Yombly Kanga, Senator-elect Yombly Kanga, let me tell you that way.
Senator-elect.
Exactly. So because we can call the president Dato, so we got to get everybody the title. So let me get all her title. Senator-elect Yombly Kanga Lawrence. Remember she listed a T on Sir Joseph, Senator Sir Joseph, because Senator Sir Joseph abruptly interrupted the session or cut it off when they were to reach out to the security apparatus as to ask them why is it things are going on in the country, the way things are going on. These things need to be revisited. They need to be revisited. But not only that, on a bigger note, the finance minister, Samuel Tuah, needs to be called in. Go back over these different reports that were provided and the discrepancy in them. He needs to be questioned about it. He needs to be questioned about public statements he's made, such as we have surplus. If we have surplus, why is there no money in the bank to pay? So you see, these are things. So I'm saying this in all fairness. If we ought to move on, or if we're going to move on as a nation, as a people, we need to revisit the mistakes. Let me say this. Nobody moves on in their life if you don't revisit the mistakes you made, to find out why you made them, how you made them, as to avoid them. You are not revisiting them because people say, let it go to past too much. You let it go to past too much. This is the mistake we've made always as Liberians. We just want to move on. No, you can't move on like that, because the tendencies of this mistake being repeated when you move on will be there. The only way you can identify them, fix them, or address them is when you've gone back and address them in the back and say, yeah, these are the mistakes we made. So it will be critically important not to just move into 2021 or so forth and think that because it's a new year, so everybody knew, everybody changed. No, that would be very, very dangerous if we were to do that. So these are some of the steps I want to see, and these are some of my expectations for the Senate, especially the new groups that came on.
So I want you to add, but we're going to ask you a question. I want you to
don't be asking me too much general question here.
No. This is going to be general question too. So the question I'm going to ask you now is about the last time somebody said, when we talk about a possibility of another female president, specifically the discussion Yombly was mentioned, since she's a political leader, the possibility of she also being president or vice president. Somebody say, oh no, we just have a woman president. Having a woman president if you have had more than 20 presidents in Liberia, and if you look at the ratio between men and women in Liberia, almost 50-50. But if you look at it, I think women will be more than men. But then having just one woman and to use that as disqualifier, because one woman was just there and now we don't need another woman. Do you take offense to that? And if not, or if so, will you support a female president or female presidency moving into 2023?
I wouldn't say I take offense to that. And maybe that would be a very strong statement, but I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Because you know what? If we want to play the gender card here, we can equally say from the time I was born, we've had all male president, and I have yet to name 5 that was good to say, oh yeah, we need to have men, So it's been bad on both ends. Okay, I've not been a fan of Mother Selling government, quite honestly, but one thing that I admire of her, that she brought in talents. I gave her credit for that. I know that a lot of people that I went to school with, or someone I didn't know, that she brought in talented people. What they did after, whether they stole or whatever it is, it was for them to prosecute, and George we had to prosecute. But she recruited talents. I know that for sure, because I know guys and women that I went to school with that worked in key roles here, and they went there and they delivered. What they did there with the other part, I don't know. But back to the issue about men and women, I don't think we should make such blanket statement. If in their opinion that Manaseli didn't do well, then it doesn't mean that Yumli or whoever else shouldn't be given the opportunity. It's a person-to-person thing. Sekou can lead bad, but you know what? Steve can come and lead the organization well. I can lead bad.
How can you say she can lead bad? She can kind of make it good.
Steve, my best friend, I gotta see if
okay,
that's joking. No,
she gotta be the positive side. No problem, because I'm not part of the group set.
I will know the group name.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just joking. I can lead bad, and Mary Brown can come and lead good. So it's a person-to-person thing. If she meets, she has the right skill set, and she has the human skills and everything else to lead, then the people want her, then give her the opportunity to lead. I don't think we say, oh, well, Liberia not ready for women yet and all of that. No, we need to rewrite that story. If she's able to lead, and I have no doubt in Yumli leading in whatever role she's led before when she was my senior, even though we're on a mission, but she's led. She has the potential to lead. My only thing, if I should send anything out to her, that she needs to be more visible. And I think she's gotten that message. She needs to be visible. We're in technology age. She needs to engage more. I know that's not so like her personality, but she needs to engage more. Whether it be a diaspora people, whether it be, engage more. Engage more, because it will help her base. It will help her interaction. She's in a public space. She needs to engage more. That's all I have to say.
Yep. Thank you, Steve.
I think Tel made a very good point about. And that's one of my expectations, my suggestion to her, that her visibility is very important, and so is every woman. Because let me say this: one of the things I've struggled with a few days is and I will hope someday we'll have the opportunity to speak with Senator Yumli Kanga, because I really want to ask her this question. Senator elect. I would not want to take that title, but this question about how do you reconcile, or what do you say as a politician, a woman? What do you say to young women who are aspiring to be politicians when you've had candidate Jemima Wallo Kwali from the CDC, who from the beginning came in very forceful, standing for the right thing, and she gained the admiration of people from both the CDC and the opposition. Only in the 11th hour for her to abandon the quest after it was reported that she and the president may have met. She comes and abandons that and throws her support to Thomas Fowler. What happened? What did you say to?
I think that creates a question of integrity.
Exactly. What do you say to young women? What do you say to young women who want to engage in the politics where men are stepping on them? What do you say to them? to encourage them, to motivate them, for them to keep on pressing, to seek what they want, and to stand for the right thing. What do you say as a woman? I'm a man. I can talk to another man on that level because most men have been leading anyways. What do you say to the young women? Tell you as a woman, what would be your thought? What do you say? How do you engage this to another woman or to a younger girl who wants to aspire?
I'll be very honest with you. I was speaking about upset. I was very upset about that when she did that, because I followed this woman. I've been knowing Jemima Walker since I was a little girl. She's about my aunt or my mom age. So I follow her for a long time. And then she going to leadership. Whether she was going to win or not, it didn't matter. The fact that she put her hat in the race, for me, that was enough. Because it was about setting an example for other women to know that I can do it too. I can do it. Doesn't matter how many times, but I can do it too.
And especially for what happened to her.
Yeah.
And not only that for declaring her intention, she was not only removed from her position, but she was kicked out of the party.
Yes.
So to come back in that manner.
Yes.
It shows, it signifies some level or some caution of integrity.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Woman.
Yeah, integrity is also trust issue. This is a woman, besides being kicked out, you come up with all these grave allegations from radio stations to platform. They want to kill me. They want to stab me. This person is a rogue. The party is a rogue. George Weah is a rogue, and all of that. And all of a sudden, I have no evidence that she took 10,000 or money, whatever it is. But all of a sudden, you took 360. What about those women that were behind you that were going to put their 20 votes or 30 votes or all of that? Did you think about them? What about the female in your family or in your community that look at you as icon or role model? Do you think about that? Sometimes we have to think through about our action at this age and this point in life. It's not all about us, but those actions that we to take all the decisions, how it impacts our children, the community, and other people. And that's what people need to look at. I hear people say, politics, that interest, that numbers game. Yes, it is. But for her, she should have thought about it other ways. If she was my mother, we would have had some serious conversation. Seriously. I promise you.
Once again, I want to express my deepest gratitude to both of you, for this conversation. We are running out of time now. Steve, if you will, maybe 1 minute or 1.5 minutes to close, and then we go to telco, and then I will say 1 or 2 words, and then we call it a day and get ready for 2021. And 2020 telco, anyway, before we go to that one, everything you owe me, make sure you pack everything, all the t-shirts.
I got a New Year one. I know I can't today. New Year, happy New Year.
So make sure you send it so I can wear it and show it to the people.
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks, Mr. Kane. I want to wish everyone a happy New Year. I know in a few hours from now, it will be New Year in the United States, in some part of the world. It is already New Year. One of the things I've always said to the church people, and I want to say on here, it's really not about the new year. It's about you being new, because the years will always be there. When we enter the year new, then things in the year tend to change, not necessarily the year. So those numbers that change really don't affect us. The only thing they do is just challenge us, whether we are new or not, because we will go into a repeated cycle. I think this is a good conversation. I will hope we'll have more of these kind of conversations as to enlighten, as to point out some of these things, because it is critically important that we speak about the importance of women being in our politics, women being at the table, making decisions as well, regardless of their differences. But I think that's one of the agendas that we need to push as Liberians, because women do have potentials. And I think if we can explore some of these potentials and bring them to the table and have these conversations, I think they will do well. I want to thank everybody. Mr. Kane, I want to thank you so much. As always, like I always say, Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth, and that cannot be debated. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you, Steve. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, go ahead. Make your closing comment before we go.
No, on a serious note, though, I thank you so much, Steve and Sekou, for allowing us to share your space. I agree to everybody. We need to have this conversation more and more. And we need to be serious about this conversation on women issue, not just talking about it, but really acting. So I'm glad that you started it yesterday. You guys continue it today, but keep hammering it, because that's the only way we can see the change that we want to see. I wish everybody a happy new year, and good tidings and blessings, and set goals. Don't say I will lose weight in 3 months, 100 pounds. Set reasonable goals and then live by it. That's all I want to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much, folks. You heard it. I mean, moving forward, I'm not going to promise that Teko will be here every day, but she will be here most of the time when we need her. She will come and share with us her intellect, her experiences, and some of the good things, she wanted to see in Liberia. As always, Steve Bully will always be here as well. But sometimes when none of them are available, I'm a one-man army. I will always be here, and I will always do my best to make sure we give you the best information and to engage you on a fruitful conversation, an intellectual conversation that will somehow uplift our country and the people. So I want to say thank you to all of you. I'm going to go by to play my music. I explained to you about the music, the meaning of that song. Friendship is two-way street, not just one-way street. If somebody is doing it, you're not doing nothing, that means you're not a good friend. If somebody watch your back, you should watch your stomach. And you should also be willing to watch their back. So I like this song. This guy is Malian Ivorian. It's called Mohamed Jabi. All right. Good night, and we love everybody. Let's play the music, and while my people go. So if you want to move a little bit to see whether you can move like me.
I cheer this all like you. Cheer this all.
Exactly.
Cheer this.
I'm a cheer this, all right?
Yeah, me too.
All right, Tia, thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you, Sekou. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
say friendship is like a soccer game. If I pass you, you will pass me too. So it's not one-way street. I'm not a cheer dancer, okay, dancer. You know, somebody say I like bluffing. One of my friends just, texted me that you like bluffing, eh? Yeah, of course now. You know how to dance, you got to bluff. See, that was a very, very, very beautiful song. I'm going to play one more time. I'm going to play one more time and then I'll call it a day, Everybody left, so I got to enjoy myself a little bit. All my friends left now. Moses, and Checo left, so I got to enjoy myself with this music one more time. And then we'll call it a day. If you can dance just like me, you can throw a challenge. Okay, folks, we gotta leave it there. Thank you very much. A lot of people don't want to go. People keep coming. So we gotta go now. Yeah, good night. Love you all.